have probably been told to stop overthinking, just let it go, don't think about it so much. And if you ever been an overthinker, you already know that advice doesn't work because if it did, you would have stopped overthinking a long time ago. So here is the question I want to explore today. What if overthinking is not your brain working against you? What if overthinking is your brain trying to protect you? Because I don't think overthinking is a thinking problem. I think it's more like a safety problem. And once I understood that, I stopped asking how do I stop overthinking and started asking completely different question, one that actually helped me. Most advices about overthinking sound something like this: distract yourself, meditate, journal, stay busy, and don't get me wrong, those things can actually help. But have you noticed something? Even after you have journaled, your brain eventually finds something new to overthink about. You solve one of your worry and another one quietly takes its place. That's because most advice are trying to stop the thoughts, but I don't think thoughts are the real problem. I think they are a symptom. Because imagine your smoke alarm goes off every evening, you could keep taking the batteries out, or you could ask why it keeps detecting smoke. That's how I think about overthinking. The thoughts are loud, they are frustrating, they are exhausting, but they are not random. They are your brain trying to predict something, trying to stop you from getting hurt, trying to prepare you for something. And until you understand what it is trying to protect you from, you are always going to feel like fighting with your mind. So, in this video, I want to break this down into three parts. First, what overthinking is actually doing. Second, why your brain keeps coming back to the same thought. And finally, how to interrupt the cycle without trying to force yourself to just stop thinking. Before we talk about how to stop overthinking, I think we need to stop treating it like an enemy. Because if there is one thing I have learned about our brain, it's that it's rarely do something for no reason. Even the habits that frustrates us the most usually starts as an attempt to help us. Let's say you send someone a message, a few hours goes by, no reply from them. Now nothing has actually happened yet, but your brain starts getting to work. Did I say something wrong? Maybe they are upset with me. Maybe I should have worded it differently. Maybe I shouldn't have sent it at all. Notice what your brain is doing. It is not trying to make you anxious. It is trying to find an answer before reality does. Because uncertainty feels dangerous. Or maybe you have experienced this. Like you have a meeting tomorrow, and instead of sleeping, you are thinking about every possible question they could ask. Not because you enjoy thinking about work at midnight, but because some part of your brain believes that if I prepare for every possibility, every questions, nothing can catch me off guard. And here is what all of these situations have in common. Your brain is not trying to replay the past, it's trying to rewrite it. As if thinking about it one more time might protect you from feeling embarrassed, rejected, or making the same mistake again. And this made me think about overthinking very differently because I stopped seeing it as my brain attacking me. I started seeing it as my brain standing guard. Except the problem is, this security guard never clocks out. There is something psychologists call intolerance of uncertainty. It simply means that some brains find not knowing much harder than others. When your brain doesn't have certainty, it tries to create it by analyzing, predicting, planning, and filling in all the gaps. It would rather imagine 10 possible outcomes than sit with one unanswered question. Because to your brain, an unanswered question feels like an unfinished threat. The more you think, the more safer you expect to feel, but for most people, the opposite happens. The thinking creates more uncertainty, which creates more thinking, and before you know it, you are trapped in a loop. So, before you tell yourself to stop overthinking, I'd rather you ask a different question. What is my brain trying so hard to protect me from? Because I don't think overthinking is random, it's more like a protection that no longer knows when to stop. So, if overthinking is trying to protect us, why doesn't it ever make us feel safe? There is a concept in psychology called rumination. People often think rumination means thinking too much. It doesn't. Rumination is when your mind keeps returning to the same thought without moving towards a solution. It's basically like running on a treadmill. You are putting in a lot of effort, but you are not actually getting anywhere. And that's the important difference because problem solving has an end, but rumination doesn't. Problem solving asks, what can I do? Rumination asks, what if? Over and over and over again. And that's the hardest truth about overthinking. It is not caused by having too many thoughts. It is caused by believing that if you think long enough, you can remove uncertainty from your life. And you can't. None of us can because this was never our job to begin with. So, if overthinking is not the problem and uncertainty is, what do we actually do? Instead of trying to stop the thought, I want you to become curious about it. The next time you catch yourself spiraling, don't ask yourself, how do I stop thinking about it? Ask, What is this thought trying to protect me from? Because every overthinking spiral is built around a fear. The thought is not the real problem, it's just a messenger. For example, you are overthinking a text message. You have read it 6 times, you have rewritten it 6 times, and still you haven't sent it. On the surface, it looks like you are overthinking a text message, but if you go one layer deeper, you'll understand that you are being afraid that they will misunderstand you, they will reject you, or they will think less of you. Text was never the real problem, the fear was. And once you see the fear, the thought starts making a lot more sense. So here is what I would love for you to try this week, not forever, just for the next 7 days. Every time you notice yourself overthinking, pause before you follow the thought and write down these 3 questions. What am I thinking about? What am I actually afraid might happen? Is there one action I can take right now? And if the answer is yes, do it. And if the answer is no, practice letting the question stay unanswered. You don't need to solve every uncertainty. Sometimes you just need to survive it, because certainty is not something that creates peace. Trust does. Trust that whatever happens, you will be able to handle it. And that's the real shift. You are not trying to become someone who never overthinks. You are becoming someone who doesn't need every answer before taking the next step. Because overthinking was never a thinking problem, it was your brain trying to search for safety in a place it was never going to find it. And if you find this video even 1% helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts in the comment box. I'm Aditi, and I've actually been living in survival mode for the past 10 to 12 years of my life, ever since high school, and I'm now consciously choosing to walk the other path. So if you are on the same journey, please do subscribe to my channel for more such content.